Oh, is it starting? Yes. Oh my God, that's perfect timing. Hello, hola. Happy Friday. Welcome to El Clasico Podcastico Happy Hour Edition.
It's El Clasico Podcastico Happy Hour. Cheers.
Cheers.
What you got there, Mark?
Oh, that's good. I got a simple, classy drink for a simple, classy team on the cusp of the final. I got my Real Madrid shirt on, my Marcelo. Let me turn all the way around
Ooh.
here. Marcelo, you see it?
Yes,
There we
I
go.
see. Yes, gorgeous.
Favorite player of all time, and I got a Lafroig here. The classic, the peaty, the smoky
Love it.
Scottish whiskey. What are you drinking, Sir Peyton?
Oh, it's the best. I love Lafroig. Probably my favorite Scotch. I love that Pete. I for dinner am having a fat orange cat
Oh, I love
imperial
that.
stout. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a white stout with natural flavors and mm, it's juicy. That's for dinner. And dinner isn't complete without drinks. And so for the happy hour, for the Champions League final, a historic classic, the pinnacle of club competitions, I'm drinking a historic classic pinnacle of cocktails, the
I
classy
love it.
martini.
Well,
Mm.
two classy folks here. I hope all of you at home are having a classy Friday and are as excited as we are about the Champions League final tomorrow. I don't know if I'm excited. I would describe it more as like a like a
Abject terror?
like a
Yeah.
vomitus feeling. I've been nervous for like 3 weeks. This stupid game. I've been waiting so long for this dumb game. It feels like a month ago we knew Real Madrid were in the final, which is basically right. Real Madrid haven't played a meaningful game in weeks.
Right.
We wrapped up the league with 5 rounds to go. We were playing like Mariano Diaz regularly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we beat Man City on May 4th, and oh boy, does it feel like so much longer ago than
Oh,
that. May 4th?
jeez.
That was like three
Yeah.
weeks ago.
That was this month?
What? Time is just absolutely slow to crawl in the lead up to this game. So much has happened. Cadiz managed to survive. There was a crazy go. If you're interested in relegation battles, go on the Guardian and read Sid Lowe's recap of the final day of La Liga. Because while I was barely watching the Yawn Fest, that was our 0-0 draw with Real Betis, a mind-boggling array of possibilities were happening as Cadiz just barely got through. Mallorca was supposed to go down, and then I think they ended up getting. It was absolutely bananas. So, and also in the Premier League, it was a crazy last day as
Oh, yeah.
Liverpool won their game. Man City were down, had to score at the very end. So it's been
Till the very end, the last minute. It was the last minute of the game that Man City took the Premier League title from Liverpool, and Mo Salah thought he scored the Premier League clinching goal when he put that one in because he celebrated as if he had done something astronomical.
yeah. So it was a snooze fest for Barcelona and Real Madrid fans, but for other fans, it was a crazy last weekend in La Liga and in the Prem. But now's the big. This is the Super Bowl
Yeah.
of soccer, which I am so happy that Real Madrid are in. And I gotta say, I did call it. I did call
Yeah.
it. Maybe I'll clip in some audio from 3 months ago when I said you asked me how far can Real Madrid go. You were talking to your friends, your colleagues,
Mm-hmm.
and they mentioned, no way, Real Madrid aren't going to do it. And you said, I think they got a chance.
It's their competition. I said, I know. Hey, this is
And
something
you
very
don't even
exciting.
like Real Madrid.
I don't like Real Madrid, but we all know this is what they get up for. This is why Real Madrid players get out of bed at night. This is what Papa Flo circles on his calendar every year. This is why Real Madrid are a team. It's why they are the dynasty that they are is for the Champions League final. They're the Galacticos. They're the global elite. And I thought that if this isn't the best Real Madrid team we've seen in a long time, I'll say that they're not as good as they were in the final 4 years ago. But here we are. They found whatever it was they needed to beat PSG, Chelsea, Man City, all by 1 point, mind you. The 6-5, 4-3, 3-2, or something like that. But be that as it may, they got the job done.
Man City was 6-5.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea was 5-4. It's like
5-4.
I love these. These are the kind of scorelines you want. None of this like 2-1 nonsense over 2 legs.
No. Real Madrid thrive on this competition. And because of that, I was pushing them. Not Barcelona, because I know what we're talking about. I mean, you want to talk about a meaningful game in 3 weeks. We haven't played a meaningful game all year. It's been about 6 months since we were in the Champions League. So I don't even remember what the song is for it. But Real Madrid, they have a chance to do it every season, and here we are. We're in the final. I was proved correct. You were proved correct. This podcast was proven valid because we both understood the potential of Real Madrid this season.
Yeah, and while we brag about our predictions, just don't listen to any of my predictions for the last 5 weeks. I will say, I did predict we would be Man City in the second leg. I did think we would tie at home, and we lost. I mean, away. I think I've gotten every result since then wrong.
Yeah,
but it's because they didn't really matter. So I'm gonna give an excuse.
Right, and it didn't. The last few games haven't mattered for Real Madrid, whereas Liverpool, I've been thinking they were gunning for the Premier League title, going for the classic treble instead of now. I think they get the gentleman's treble. It's called with they got the FA and something else. I can't remember. They have 2. It's not a real treble. Yeah,
the energy drink cup.
Yes, the what's the Idiocracy? The Mambo. It's got electrolytes. Brawny Super Cup final. It's got electrolytes that plants crave. They won that cup this year, but here's a classic question here, Mark. Who's served better in the juxtaposition of Real Madrid get to rest? They got basically the last 2 weeks off from any kind of meaningful struggle in a game. They weren't suffering. Whereas Liverpool haven't stopped sprinting for about 7 months.
Well, literally, right? Jurgen Klopp fills them full of Red Bull and just gives them a kick in the tush. It sends them out there, and they just run around like, I don't know, rats hopped up on cocaine. I mean, it's their counter pressing, right? Their style of play is so physical, and I think
Blitzkrieg.
Yes, 100%, and you can see it having a little bit of a toll. I've watched some of the Liverpool games recently out of curiosity, and I watched their game against, I think it was Tottenham, that they ended up drawing, and there just seemed to be that was really the game that lost them the title. That draw, there just seemed to be a little bit of tiredness in the legs. They didn't quite have too many ideas down the stretch. And I do wonder, Liverpool just having played more games as a result of English football's strange fixation on playing as many cups as possible.
Yeah.
Let's just throw in a fifth one. I'm pretty sure there's 8 English cups.
Yeah, well, it's money.
Yes.
It's capitalism at its best.
Many strange competitions. Maybe I don't think they played in the Club World Cup. I think that was Chelsea. Chelsea had played 61 competitive matches this year, which is just absolutely bananas. I think it serves Real Madrid because we have a lot of our best players are older players. I think there's a lot to the argument that you want guys to be fresh, the opposite. I think there's a certain argument where you don't want to come in rusty. I know that's a thing they talk about in the NBA a lot. If a team
NFL as well.
Right.
I as a Packer fan can attest to this. We've taken first in the NFC the last couple of years, gotten that first round bye, then come in rusty, couldn't perform, got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. So hopefully see some. But I think you're right though. Real Madrid, with their experience and the pedigree they have in the Champions League, they know what they're getting into. They know it's in front of them.
Yeah, I just don't see like Benzema and Modric just being like, let's mail this one in. Like I think
right.
I don't.
Wait, where do I stand again?
What am I doing? Like I think it serves them because they are a bit older. They don't have as much juice. They haven't really had to play a lot recently.
Right.
So I think it gives us a little more of an advantage where I really would have given this game to Liverpool, I think, if the teams had come in 50-50. But as we'll explain it as we go through, I think Real Madrid will edge this one based a lot on the experience and I think a lot on just the circumstances. Liverpool have been killing themselves trying to win the Premier League. They probably can't wait for vacation, but they got to play maybe their most meaningful game of the season now, as all the legs are dead. So we're going to get into every angle of this final. I can't wait. I got a lot of notes. Like I literally can't wait. Like I wish it was tomorrow.
Right. It is.
No, we're going to release this today, baby.
Okay. Yes.
This is coming out Friday, May 27th. I think the first thing I want to talk about is that this is an historic final.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't like an historic, but that's what it is.
It's appropriate.
Yeah.
And
why isn't it a historic?
To celebrate an historic game, I have an historic lineup of my Barcelona jerseys through the years. This is the oldest here. Way back in that was 09, 010 here. We got the
very
from
nice.
Rakitin to Cutter, and of course this is just a supporters shirt. You can just pay $45 to get a non-jersey that's just got Barcelona stuff on it, and then you're also a fan.
Nice. Yeah, and I got my Real Madrid by midnight jersey. We famously, I thought these were awesome. I showed it off a little bit earlier. It's this dark blue. It's so cool. We only wore it like one time because we got absolutely destroyed by PSG 3-0. And then
isn't that so funny?
Stopped wearing it. But I think
superstition.
It's super cool. So I got one with my buddy Marcelo on it. I was like, do I buy a new Mbappe jersey? Well, that's good. Didn't set aside that money yet.
That decision was made for you.
That's good. We don't have to talk about that. But yeah, I think so. Thank you for showing up your history, Peyton. Real Madrid and Liverpool, they have a lot of history to show off in this final, right? The two most successful clubs in probably the two most soccer-y countries. I think the two countries you would associate with soccer, right? People ask you, who loves soccer? You go, England, Spain?
And then, and other than that, I would say France, Italy.
Italy? Germany? And that's just the first two that come to mind. Liverpool obviously have the most English titles with 19. Just one in the Premier League era, interestingly enough. Won that a couple of years ago. Real Madrid have the most in Spain, 35. Having just won their 35th.
Oh, yep. You know, it's crazy. Well, all of the winners of between Real Madrid, Atletico, AC Milan and PSG, they all had the same record as winners of their tables. PSG, Real Madrid, and AC Milan had the exact same. They had 26 wins, 8 draws, 4 losses across the board. Isn't that crazy? I just wanted to throw that in. I thought that was a fun stat.
Weird. That is a fun stat. And yeah, congrats to AC Milan. Carlo Ancelotti won his first title with AC Milan.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Congratulations.
A pod favorite, Sir Zlatan.
Played on a not just like a torn ACL, but an empty ACL slot in his knee for like 6 months. Took pain injections every day for it. It seems like a nightmare, but that man is a soldier and one of my favorites to ever do it. I mean, honestly, might be my number 2 behind Messi and my favorite players of all time.
The Zlatan is up there, man. I mean, he had a good season at 40.
And he promised them. He's like, give me a full season, because he came in the January transfer window of last year, and then he's like, give me a full year, we'll win the Scudetta, and indeed he did.
Chipped in 8 goals even at the ripe old age of 40, where most players not only have moved to the MLS, but they're retired. They're retired.
Yeah, yes.
They're fully retired, but he's just straight up winning a Scudetto in one of the best leagues in the world. So congrats to Zlatan. I mean, is it surprising we threw in Zlatan in the middle of this game review? No. No.
Has to.
The Zlatan should be mentioned.
We're talking about champions here.
Exactly. And who's a bigger champion than Zlatan? But this is an interesting game for this reason. This is why I wanted to highlight and how historic it is. There's none of these new money guys. None of these oil clubs made it. And these are the clubs that have been most recently historically dominant. Pep's Man City, of course, owned by United Arab Emirates, the oil dictatorship, dominant in England, have won 4 of the last 5 titles. PSG, owned by Qatar's oil authority, essentially, didn't win last year, but they've won basically every year other than that in the last 10 years in their league. And Chelsea, owned by Roman Abramovich, famously an oligarch, buddy of Putin. They all, and not only are they not in this final, Real Madrid knocked off the 3 big oil clubs one by one. And remember, they made up 3 of the 4 finalists last year. Of the 4 final teams last year, Real Madrid was the only one that wasn't one of these new money oil clubs. So it's a fascinating storyline. I think it's kind of like fighting against the future, because if you've heard any of the comments from the UEFA president, he seems to welcome. Obviously, he has a very antagonistic relationship with Sir Florentino Perez, which you can't entirely blame him, right? The Super League fiasco. But if you heard his comments, he's very good buddies with Nasser Al-Khelaifi, president of PSG.
Seraphin?
Yes.
You mean the man who has infamously taken bribe after bribe after bribe and still remains at the head of Europe's most important confederation?
Yeah, so it's really interesting, right, when the narrative is so much against Papa Flo, who, hey, I'm not saying the man is perfect, okay? We have our own faults, like this way the Super League was rolled out, no relegation, not a good idea. Taking oil money from UAE, the same entity that owns Man City. We have a kit deal, I mentioned it in the last podcast, for $100 million a year that we just renewed. So Real Madrid, our hands are not clean. But it's still good to see, I think, these 2 clubs that kind of rely on their history and their collective will getting into the final.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than just gobs of money.
Right. But a true sporting talent and history and integrity. They see. I mean, Jurgen Klopp, one of the best modern managers in the game.
I think the best.
Probably. It's got to be between him and Pep, right? Between the 2. But Pep hasn't. I mean, he hasn't had. Jurgen Klopp has had more points in the Premier League and lost the Premier League than Sir Fergie ever had with Man United as a winner in the Premier League. Jurgen Klopp has lost the Premier League 4 times with more points at the end of the season than Alex Ferguson ever attained with Man United.
Well, I think that's a great point, right? Like and there's a greater concentration of resources, not just to the oil clubs, but to all of the top clubs over the last 20 years. That's why there's such a dominance of just these 1 or 2 clubs winning each league every year, right? Like, I think that's just a concentration, which we've seen kind of across the planet, right? Is the concentration of wealth and resources into a few hands, right? It's interesting how much. I really didn't want to get into kind of like an anthropology course here, but it is interesting how much soccer has just represented society as well.
Yeah.
The dominance of these. So I think it's really interesting.
This late stage capitalism game that we're all a part of right now.
Dystopia, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And but it is nice to see, at least for this year, none of those teams are in it. And the 2 winningest teams basically in the history of football have made this final.
You could argue the two most likable teams out of like from the round of 16 forward, honestly.
Yeah. And Real Madrid obviously have the most Champions Leagues with 13. So we're looking for our 14th. We're looking to double up AC Milan in second. Liverpool are in third. They have 6. They obviously won a few years ago against Tottenham. And they won, of course, Stevie G was the one before that. Everybody remembers that epic final where he came back with 3 in the second half. So I liked Liverpool. Liverpool was actually the first team that I liked.
The highest supported team in America from the Prem is Liverpool. LeBron, a minority owner of Liverpool.
Yes. I think by going to American soccer bars, I would say that is 100% true.
Yes.
Anecdotally, people love Liverpool over here. What's so weird, Peyton, is I used to be a big Liverpool guy. I used to root. How strange is this, given our podcast now? I used to root for Luis Suarez. Like that was his year when he had like 40 goals for Liverpool. One of the greatest goal scoring seasons ever for Liverpool. Might be the single greatest, actually.
That's funny too, because that was also when he was at his most reviled because of the World Cup and everything against Ghana.
Oh, he was biting all over the place.
Oh yeah,
back then.
The handball off the line, and then they miss the penalty.
Well, that's my kind of guy, Peyton, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Well, you're a Real Madrid fan.
I support villains. Okay, I supported Ronaldo for basically a decade. So yes, bad people. Sergio Ramos. I mean,
Sergio Ramos. Oh my God, we haven't even mentioned this.
No.
I don't think this is the first year that I've witnessed, maybe in modern history, that Real Madrid have got an entire season with 0 red cards in a season. And that has to be thanks to Sergio Ramos's departure.
Well, that's a great lead. And so that's a great stat. I mean, Sergio Ramos, I think, leads everyone. I think he had 24 red cards in his time at Real Madrid.
So crazy.
A wild, kind of a banshee type of player. And this leads into perfect. So we talked about the history between the two teams. Generally, what's the history between them actually playing each other? Of course, we can't not mention the recent final, Champions League final 2017-2018, Ronaldo and Bale's last year with the team. All right, well, I guess technically Bale played for 3 more years. He's still with the team, but it was really his last year.
And just to preview this, all you need to know about this game is just look at the statue outside of the Santiago Bernabeu of Karius on the pitch.
Yeah, so this was a fascinating game, right? So lots of stuff happened. Most of it involved Sergio Ramos with his elbows and judo chops.
Yeah, I don't know what judo throw that is called, but it's something Korean.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm not 100% sure which happened first, but at one point, Ramos elbowed Karius in the head, causing he claims Karius a concussion, and he does not remember the rest of the game, which explains a lot.
Well, often when you're traumatized, you block out those memories.
I don't know how much, because he went on to play the game. I mean,
it's a nice excuse to have. It's right there for you.
Might be an excuse. But anyway, that's the claim from him. Of course, Karius then literally rolled the ball to Karim Benzema, who put it in the back of the net for the first goal. And then Bale got a famous bicycle kick, probably the greatest ever goal in the Champions League final, besides his manager, Zidane's, who put him on the 60th minute after basically not playing him. That's what people, I think, sometimes get overshadowed when they talk about, Bale had a great final. He was like not playing for us at that time. I wasn't sure if he would even be in the squad for the final. And then Zidane was kind of out of ideas. We weren't playing that well, even though it was tied 1-1. Throws on Bale, and then, I mean, that bicycle kick is just an absolute piece of history. And then Bale, at the end of the game, goes on to whine about his playing time as he's sitting with his winner's medal. Like, I don't know. He's a strange figure.
Well, see what happens? See what happens when I play, when you put me in the game? I mean, it's kind of funny. It's almost like nothing's changed. If you look 4 years ago, and then the only thing that's changed is Bale's gotten slightly less playing time over the course of the years.
He's gotten even less, but probably deserved a little more during Zidane, and I would say he's even deserved less than the playing time he's gotten, which is basically done. But
the difference is now when he comes in, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, that season he had 16 goals and 2 assists just in La Liga, 20 starts, which seems low, but that's about what he averaged. He's famously not healthy. And I will say my stance on Bale in general is he's a legend and he's one of the greatest ever wingers to ever play for Real Madrid, evidenced by his goal scoring record. He scored over 100 goals for us from the wing, which is almost unheard of. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's some of the obviously Salah went down in the first half with the judo move by Sergio Ramos. It looked like Ramos is kind of an expert at these, right? Because it looked like Salah was kind of just going down and Ramos helped him, but there was a clasp.
Yeah.
There was a clasp of the arm because I was watching it again today. He clasps the arm and kind of throws him down.
It's a tuck and a twist.
Right. Yes, great way to describe it. It's totally on purpose. Salah, one of the just most adorable men in sports, is in tears on the field. I mean, he's one of the most lovable figures in soccer, and just generally seems like he would be a great hugger.
Yes,
absolutely.
He is the most adored Middle Eastern Muppet that is currently playing professional soccer.
Just the cutest, and he's in tears. My heart was breaking for him even during the game. I didn't want to see him go down. Their best player. You don't want to win that way, right? But we did.
Ramos did.
Oh yeah, he sure did. But we did. We got the win 3-1, and honestly, Real Madrid kind of dominated the game. I think Liverpool had 2 shots on target.
Yeah.
They kind of didn't know what to do. And what's interesting is for all the narrative I think going into this game about Liverpool are better and Real Madrid are the worst team, which I think talent-wise makes sense. Remember, we played Liverpool just last year too. Played them in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Kind of a similar situation. We also won 3-1 over 2 legs. That first leg, Liverpool had more possession, but Real Madrid killed them on the counter. Famously, Toni Kroos with the 2 scything through balls to Vinny, who finished them both in style. So, right, that is kind of an interesting note, right? You're like,
yeah, that hasn't changed either. Like today,
it's gonna be the same
this is one of my notes. Liverpool are still open to those counters. They still get out of position defensively like that to allow people to get in behind. That has not changed. That whole gegenpress technique, it leaves them exposed in the back if you can find those channels. And who better to find those channels than Real Madrid in this game?
Yeah. So, and we'll get into exactly what we want to say about the game. So I think the historical context was fun. Like, what's changed, right, for both teams since then? So, like, what's different about Liverpool now versus then? I think a lot's different, right, in terms of they've gotten to the top now. Mm-hmm. They hadn't won the Premier League at that time. They hadn't won the Champions League that last, but in the 3 or 4 years since then, they've done both of those things. So they've tasted the success.
Didn't they win the Premier League 2-3 times in a row since then?
Liverpool?
And then Man City. Yeah,
I think won one time.
Only one? Okay.
The pandemic, the year they stopped.
Just that year.
They were up 25 points or whatever, and then
right.
Might have been literally the next year. So I think they've become winners right now, right? So they're going to be, I would expect them to be more confident. They finished with more points than Real Madrid this year, 92 points. Lost the league because City is City. They have an incredible 12 midfielder lineup. And,
oh my gosh. Did you see, by the way, just to touch on City real quick, not to get too off track. Obviously they signed Holland, but they also signed Julian Alvarez from River Plate, who just scored 6 goals in a game over there in Argentina. Barcelona had a chance to sign him, actually. We were in contact with his agents first, but we couldn't do it. Like, we don't have the money because of Javier Tebas and his financial fucking fair play. So Man City are now going to get him as well. So just every player that's good in the world will matriculate to Manchester City. PSG or
Man
Man City.
City.
Yeah.
When
PSG will buy him once he has 4 good years at Man City, and
yeah.
then they'll get him.
Yeah, we think it's kind of been a joke like Chelsea, Man City, PSG are hoovering up all the best players. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. The only reason Mbappe went to Man City is because they literally doubled their offer. I mean,
Don't you think that just means? I mean, we're getting even more off track now. But don't you think that means that the Super League is imminent? But anyway, all right, go ahead.
It's a shit. I mean, we could do 6 hours on all of this.
It's a sham. It's a fraud, and Javier Tebas is handicapping Barcelona and kind of Real Madrid, but certainly us with our competitiveness is how I feel. Anyway.
Well, if there was any fair play enforcement, financial fair, I mean, okay, yeah, we'll stop. Let's stop.
okay, please. Champions League final.
The final. Let's focus on a really fun game, okay? That Man City and PSG are not in, okay? Let's hammer that home. No oil teams are in this final. It's going to be 2 super fun, lovable teams with a bunch of exciting players. So with the best, I think, couple of the best coaches in the world. Jurgen Klopp is, I think, the best tactician, and he kind of has both things, right? He seems to love his players. If you've ever watched Jurgen Klopp and his hugs, he just hugs every player after the game and kisses.
Yeah.
He'll literally kiss his players after the game. Another man who hugs and kisses his players. Why? His counterpart for Real Madrid, Ancelotti. He'll freely give out hugs and kisses before and after games. The players from both of these teams, I think this is an important point. They literally love these men, these managers.
Yeah. A lot of them have it in their contracts. Like if I get a goal, that's 2 hugs and kisses. I get, they're incentivized. They're not playing for free here. I'm going to need a kiss on the cheek for every assist.
Can I get some Carlo love after a goal? And he will freely give it. I think it's
Ancelotti gets paid in sunglasses and cigars.
Yes. I mean, honestly, the man has accomplished so much. He doesn't need anything else.
I love him. I hate Real Madrid. I like Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, right? Because there's so many hateable managers at the top of the game, right? Like Pep is like a bag of needles, right?
Divisive. He's like a pubescent boy who's managing Manchester City.
He's all tantrums and maths and like Thomas Tuchel, again, a great manager, but God, awful personality. I mean, the petulance on the sideline. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like either of them. I think I would welcome them if they were like, oh, I'm going to work for Real Madrid. I don't think I would get mad.
Sure.
But it's really interesting how I think love has won this year, Peyton, when it comes to managers.
Goodness gracious. I hope so. Yeah, I mean, Jurgen Klopp, lovable.
Has love prevailed?
Yeah, I think so. In this year, at least, love has prevailed.
I really enjoy that storyline. I hope there'll be hugs galore for everybody, winners and losers at the end.
I like Jurgen Klopp's jaw shifting. It's like it's off to the side the entire time.
I just hurt myself trying to do that. I don't know what muscles he has. Also, those are all fake teeth, right? There's no way those are real.
Oh yeah, he's got the Giuliani set inside his jaws.
Real crazy set of choppers. Well, let's talk a little bit about Real Madrid now versus then. Talked about Liverpool a little bit, so they're coming in confident on top of the world as champions. Real Madrid, kind of an interesting story, right? They lost probably their greatest ever player. If you're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, I mean, the man scored 450 goals.
That's insane.
Yeah, probably our greatest ever player. Also, I feel like I have to mention that every time. Probably also a rapist, not a good person, but he probably also is our best ever player.
Did he assault a young man in the stands this year? Yes.
And he also did that. Yes. Yes. But probably our greatest ever player, besides Di Stefano. You could argue, whether you like number 10s, number 9s. But Real Madrid, in general, right, have kind of stayed the same. Not usually considered among the very top teams. We weren't under Zidane. I don't think any of those three-peat years when we won the Champions League 3 years in a row, 4 out of 5, I don't think any of those years people were like, Real Madrid, they're the favorites.
No.
Right? We were generally like 4th or 5th, or maybe even it was usually Bayern Munich, Barcelona at that time.
Right.
But we usually had one of the top 2 best players. In that time, it was Ronaldo. Right now, Real Madrid, where we considered maybe even a little lower, 6th or 7th best team in Europe, 4%.
And Benz is barely talked about in the top 5, like, best players currently. Like, on a global stage, we talk about Benz being maybe like the greatest goal scorer happening right now. But on ESPN, on like these big media outlets, Sky Sports, they don't rate Benzema as highly as we do. No one on Real Madrid would be rated in the top 5 players right now.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, that's not just incorrect, right? I think you're right. I think a lot of the narrative is that Benz isn't the top, but I think he's the best. I mean, I'm a little biased, but I think the numbers show that he's the best player in the world right now. I think he is generally regarded as the Ballon d'Or favorite, though.
Yeah, that is true. I do think it's the Ballon d'Or favorite, but when people talk about like best doing it right now, I think people talk about Mbappe, Haaland, Lewandowski, Jack Grealish, Phil Foden. No, I'm just kidding. But I do
the
think
English thing is
the English
is
people
big.
twist it like that, and that's the news that we get here in America. Is the
very English dominated
media outlet
because of the language?
It's so biased.
Yeah.
And preseason, I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit about the lines, but preseason, PSG were favored to win the Champions League. They were like a plus 200 to win it, and then, which is insane, like crazy favorites to win the Champions League. And then it was Man City, and then it was Liverpool. But then they had another bet that was any English team plus 100 to win. And then anyone else will be plus 500 to win the Champions League.
Real Madrid were 33% was what the bookies said. Real Madrid, I think. I don't even think we made the top 8 in teams.
No, you're right around there, yeah.
So the bookies gave us a basically 3% chance. 538 gave us a 4% chance to win the Champions League. So really, really not among the top teams at all. So amazing. And the odds. So I guess what I'm saying in general is I don't think the outlook for Real Madrid has changed that much since that team that like quote unquote dominated Europe. I think it's still like a team with 1 or 2 top end attackers, not really a tactical plan, which we'll talk about whether that helps or hurts. But it's more just like a kind of a collection of individuals that just figures it out when the time comes. So interesting kind of how Real Madrid's outlook hasn't really changed, even despite losing Bale, losing Ronaldo.
Bale still plays for you.
No, he doesn't. He left.
I mean,
he left that summer. His brain, it's a husk.
Right.
His brain left that Champions League night when everyone said, "Oh, we're going to sell it."
Bale gets it on the wing upfield. He's like, I think I'll use a 9 from here, probably maybe a pitching wedge. What is that? What are we about 40 yards out? It was hit a little down stroke. I want to hit it with some backspin here to get it in there.
And then the ball's been taken away.
Great. Bale's just like tossing grass in the air before a shot. Lining it up.
Wind? Is that the...
Yeah.
You guys getting wind?
Right, complete quiet from the stadium, please. Complete quiet.
And they're back the other way, and it's a goal. It's a goal for the other team. While Bale is just standing there, motionless. Yeah, wow. I mean, what a weird career. There'll be some sort of docudrama about him. Who would play Bale?
There's got to be.
Who would play Bale in could you have Christian Bale play Gareth Bale? He'll be too old.
Yeah, that might be fun. Who else could play him? I don't know. No one looks enough like a
He's got quite a face.
gorilla. Yeah, he looks like a gorilla. Very apish.
Yeah, he does.
Looks.
He has a real, yeah, he has quite a face. Well, I think the next thing. So we talked a little bit about Bale. I think he is not going to be a player who's going to make any difference in this game. I'd put some money down on that.
I would not take that bet. I don't think he's going to be an impact.
I would put somebody, which is really funny given some of the stories going around.
Ooh, would you put money on seeing Hazard in this game?
You know what? I think we might. I would say this. I'd say if we see Hazard, we're probably going to lose.
Oh, okay.
Because we're probably at a bad spot.
Yeah, that's desperation level right there.
I could see it being thrown on if we're down 2-3-0, and like maybe Rodrigo's already on. Maybe Benz has been pulled. Like it's just been a disaster. And Hazard's.
I mean, if Benz gets pulled, that's just saying we give up to me.
I mean, he might be anonymous for 80 minutes. I mean, it could be the case. Yeah, so yeah, I guess we'll get into what might happen during the game. But who are we looking for, right? So who are we looking for to make the difference in this game? We know it's not Gareth Bale. I think obviously you got to mention the famous forwards for both clubs. We talked about Ben's a little bit. Mo Salah, obviously the right winger, soon to be Real Madrid's right winger, if I'm to be believed.
Perhaps, yeah.
Even though he said he's staying at Liverpool, what else is he gonna say before the?
Hey, what's interesting is not Mo Salah, but Sadio Mane said he's got a big announcement to make after the end of the Champions League final, that he will make a big speech, whatever that means, at the end.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing. We'll get it. We'll stick with the game for now. But anyway, lots of I mean, what's gonna happen with those guys is fascinating. Mo said he's gonna stay. We'll see. I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
I know who the owners of Liverpool are. I support their other club, and I know how those handing out big contracts to superstars goes.
Stay tuned for the end of this show where we dox the Liverpool owners.
It's John Henry. He's a billionaire. He's an asset. All right, so let's 23 goals for Mo, 13 assists, 30 starts this year. I think probably the best player in the Prem. I think De Bruyne actually won Player of the Year. I don't know. There's something about Mo Salah's game that is so fun. I mean, we talked about his personality in general. I think the reason I like him so much, he averaged the most shots per game in the Prem. And I just appreciate that so much because, I mean, from a fan of Cristiano Ronaldo for many years, that man just took shots. I mean, he was a proponent of you miss every shot you don't take. I think he took 7 shots a game for us. And I would always I remember complaining back then, like, well, man, Ronaldo, he just takes too many bad shots, but he'll score 1 or 2 of those 7 shots. And I think a little bit of an underrated skill these days is you have to be in a good position to even shoot, right?
Yes.
So Mo, is he going to miss a lot of shots? Yeah, he's going to miss most of his shots. But if you're shooting a lot, you're going to make a lot of shots too. So he's kind of a rare player these days, like the volume shooter, volume scorer, right? I feel like they've been disincentivized both in basketball where everybody's going for efficiency and kind of in soccer now. Everybody's analytical, gotta get close to the goal. Don't shoot too
everywhere.
much.
Yeah. Across sports, it's all analytical. It's all data refinement and seeing how get these numbers in order.
Mo's I shoot, I score. I love that.
Right. Yeah. And some people say he's selfish. Some people say he takes too many shots, but that's the burden you have to carry if you're going to be the guy for your team. You got to take those shots.
I mean, and his numbers indicate he's far and away the guy for Liverpool. Also, I think you had a player spotlight for Liverpool, Peyton.
Yeah, I do. I actually have 2. One is going to be Virgil van Dijk at center back for Liverpool. He will have his hands full in this game, keeping Karim Benzema in check. Liverpool, they've given up some bad chances in the Prem, especially recently, for whatever reason, against Wolverhampton. They were getting in behind constantly during that game. No, maybe it's a full season of wear and tear coming down where they have not
Yeah.
had a respite. They've just been competing week in, week out with their full squad.
Well, Van
But
Dijk's no spring chicken. He's 30, right?
yeah, I mean, he's getting older. But with Trent Alexander-Arnold marking Vinny for the full length of the game, the Dutchman, Van Dijk, he's going to need to step up and have a career-defining game in this one. He's been sold as a world-class talent since joining Liverpool. This will be his day to prove it in the Champions League final. He's got all the physical traits necessary. He's aggressive, but he can get out of position. So he's going to need to play a disciplined game and stay on Benzema. Like, he needs to have one eye on Benz, one eye on the ball the entire game. That's going to be huge. That will be pivotal. It could come down to how well Van Dijk plays and shuts down Benz. If, as you were talking about earlier, Benz has to get subbed off for somebody later on, that will be because of Van Dijk's defense, I believe.
I think I just for one moment on Van Dijk, I think what's really interesting about how Benz is able to kind of hoodwink these very good defenders, right? He did it to Rudiger, who will now be joining Real Madrid, but who's similarly, I think, regarded as an excellent kind of aerial, a guy who can shut down top forwards. Benzema, a lot of times, he won't be near the center back for much of the game. He's not one of those guys. He won't like wait on the shoulder and run in behind. He's going to get into weird spots. So I think what he'll do a lot, he'll drop almost so deep that Van Dijk won't know what to do. Do I follow him to the middle of the park, or like do I stay back? And then by the time he's thought that through, Vinny's 30 yards behind him. So I think Benz's fun is that he'll act as a decoy almost, which is strange for a player of his profile. So I think that'll be one of the most I just can't wait to see how that
I think
tactical
you're 100%
battle.
right. Yeah, I think you're so right about that. Benz is going to be like a key draw in this game in the attack for Real Madrid, and he knows players are going to need to mark him. So if he could just make those red herring runs in the end,
Like almost like backwards, right? He's going to pull you in.
You have to honor those. You have to honor him getting into space, because he will take advantage of any time he gets the ball in space. I mean, it seems like 98% of the chances he gets are going in if he gets them. So they're going to need to honor those runs. And if he can draw players off and give Vinny or Rodri, if he plays, some more space, that could be really big.
Yeah, so I just can't wait. It's going to be fascinating. Who's your number two?
Now, my number two, in addition to Van Dijk for Liverpool, has got to be Thiago Alcantara. A former Barca prodigy, a La Masia product, is the heart and soul of their midfield at Liverpool. He got injured in their last game, last Sunday, was doubtful up until yesterday when the medicos cleared him to play. We'll see his fitness. It sounds like he'll be ready, and he is their difference maker. If he's out, that should give Madrid an instant 15% chance to win, honestly, because he controls everything. He's the one that's capable of making those passes forward, like around defenders. He's got that swaz. He can curve it into a run of Mo Salah to put anyone into a dangerous position, Sadio Mane, whoever, Diogo Jota, Roberto Firmino, whoever's playing. He can put them in dangerous positions, play from back to front. He's a full-length player from back to forward. That's going to be huge. I do think he'll play, but that's someone to keep an eye on because, say you're not fully fit coming to this game, so you do have a lingering injury, you're not going to sit the Champions League game out. You're going to tell as many little white lies as you can to get in there. So his fitness, I think, is going to play a major part in this game. And if he is not all the way there, Cruz Case Modric, they know their identity. They know what they're doing. They're going to control the midfield, and that might be a decisive part in this game. So look out for Thiago Alcantara, how fit he looks, how healthy he is, and then how well he plays will be another major factor in this game.
I don't think a lot of people are picking that. That's a deep cut from Peyton. Well, obviously, former Thiago fan, of course. He came up with Barcelona. They got that string puller. What a just like a silky, I think is the best way to describe Thiago, right? He's just
Yeah. Well,
some of
he's the
those
Modric
angles.
of the Liverpool midfield, where he will get passes into wherever. He's got a great mind for the game. He's older. He's going to be big for them if he's healthy. I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play either way. The question is what version of Thiago Alcantara are we about to see tomorrow?
Yeah, so that's a good one to watch out for. I mean, we already talked about Kareem. I don't think we really need to harp on him too much.
I just want to say one time, that one stat that I added into our notes is that he has scored 44 goals in 45 games across all competitions. That's FIFA numbers. It's ridiculous. They're video game numbers that he's putting up this season.
And he's putting up a bunch of assists.
And you talk about him as being the key player for Real Madrid, and it's like he's the super key player for Real Madrid. Yeah. He's got to score one, maybe two, to win this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 27 goals, 12 assists, 31 starts, 15 goals in the Champions League. I mean, those are like prime Messi, prime Ronaldo numbers, like numbers that we didn't think we would see again. I think.
No.
He's putting up this year. I will caveat, Lewandowski's basically doing the same thing this year, goal-wise. He's just had a little bit less team success, Bayern having been knocked out. So
just wait until he plays for Barcelona.
Well, doesn't have the assist numbers, so that too. Benzema.
He's a 9.
He's clearly outplayed Lewandowski this year, I would say. I think Real Madrid aren't going to get many chances in this game, and we'll talk a little bit about how the game's going to unfold. But I think we need him. I think we need him to take his chances, and I think he will. So that's going to be a big thing. Supporting cast. So we talked about the big players, the Van Dijks, the Mo Salahs, the Benzema. What about let you dig a little bit deeper? And we're not going to dig that deep by supporting my big supporting player. Oh, surprise, surprise. Vinny Jr.
Right.
I mean, who else? I won't bore you with all of the stats, but I will say he is the best dribbler in the Champions League and Spain this year, and it is not close.
No.
So Vinny he's dribbled past 115 players in La Liga this year. Guess how far he is ahead of second? Did you see my stat, or do you want to guess? What's number 2 have?
For say it again.
So Vinny has dribbled past 115 players in La Liga this year. How many people has the second best player dribbled past?
I wonder. Is it a player for Barcelona?
No.
Okay, then I'll say 85.
78.
Wow, that's quite a gap.
So that's like a 40 player gap, like a 40% gap. I mean, he's miles ahead. And Champions League, he's also number 1 by a mile. So even against top competition, right? 44 players dribbled past. Kingsley Coman, second with 31. So again, like 30% gap. I mean, so I think we just need him to be aggressive on the break. And another player that I think a lot of people in the lead up have been talking about, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who I think is going to go really high in our fantasy draft, which, by the way, watch out for that. But we'll get
great tease.
We'll get past the business. We'll get into more of the silly stuff towards the end. Me and Peyton will pick our rosters. We'll handpick our own rosters from the Liverpool and Real Madrid rosters for this final. TAA is probably their most creative player. They rely on him a lot to get the ball to Mo Salah, who Mo Salah has the most progressive receptions in the league, so it's receiving the ball in dangerous areas. And they're mostly because of Trent Alexander-Arnold, who has 12 assists just in the Premier League this year. So he's one of their most creative players, I'd say, without Mo. But what does that mean, right? He's going to have to be up the field for a lot of this game. That just means there's going to be 100% certainty there is going to be room for Vinny Jr., the most dangerous dribbler this year in Spain, to run into. So I think that's a good mix. It's kind of like it's almost like a double-edged sword for Liverpool, right? Because they know they have to be they need Trent Alexander-Arnold up and in the attack to be effective at their best. But if he's doing that, there's going to be room for Vinny. So I think that's another fascinating matchup that I can't. I mean, just every little movement between the two of them, you're going to have your eyes on all game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that'll be fun. You got anybody supporting cast? Or I got a couple more little notes.
I mean, Sadio Mane for Liverpool, as akin to your Vinny Jr. supporting cast. He's got 16 goals in the league and in the Prem so far this season. He's a lion heart. He does not quit. He's going to keep running. He's fast as all get out. Could be leaving. This could be his last game as a Liverpudlian. Look for him to have a big one.
Heck of a finisher. He's like top percentile in all the goals, expected goals, all that.
That's right. Trent Alexander-Arnold would be a good one to put in there. But then also Andy Robertson on the other side, across from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Those two are probably the best duo fullbacks in the world, I would say right now, on one team would be. And Andy Robertson, he's physical, he's fast, and he can play out from the back. He can get forward. Andy Robertson will be a key figure in this one. He needs to have a good game. So
that's a great point. I think something that's maybe been overlooked a little bit is if you're just looking at like areas of the field, if you're not picking out specific matchups, like who's versus who, if you're just going, who's got the better this, or this, if you're looking at fullbacks, it's as much as I love Ferland Mendy, very solid defender, and Danny Carvajal, club legend. They're some of the weakest links for Real Madrid.
Right.
I think they have very clear limitations, whereas Andy Robertson, TAA are kind of like the ideal of the position.
Yeah, absolutely they are. And then also just a last little thing is Fabinho. Playing at center back for them, whether or not he will be able to play. We talked about Thiago's fitness. Fabinho also took a knock in that same game. If he is not lined up next to Van Dijk, that's going to be a hole at center back for Liverpool.
Fabinho's a fabulous player. Kind of can do it all, right, in the midfield. He's got very good interception, tackling numbers. He can also pass it. Should we finally get into what will happen? We're almost an hour into our happy hour, right?
Let's do it. Yeah.
I
think it's appropriate. I think
this is good. I think this is good. Let's get into what do we think will actually happen in this game. We previewed all the different angles. The bookies say Liverpool by half a goal, which is very annoying. I don't know what half a goal means. What is half a goal?
I don't understand is that it was like plus 100 for Liverpool to win, plus 250 or whatever for Real Madrid to win, and then plus 250 for a draw. Like, we know that's not happening. Why is that a betting line? Why is that a draw? You can bet plus 265
Stupid fans.
For a draw. It's impossible.
Stupid American fans, because they can't win the bet.
It's one leg. It's not a 2-leg draw that we're playing right now. It's one leg. I just don't know why that's an option for anybody.
Yeah, I think they're just taking people's money.
All right.
How many American fans at the final be like, oh, they can't tie this?
Wait, what? Where did all my money go?
I had $50,000 on a draw.
Shit. I thought all soccer games ended in draws.
I thought they hated winning. So fascinating. Currently, so what are these? What does plus 200 mean? Can you explain that?
Basically, well, I know for sure it means if you put $10 down. No, I don't know. I don't know what it means exactly.
Okay, because I've never understood that. I will say 538 puts it, at least in terms I understand, if I don't agree with them. They say Liverpool will win 65% of the time. That's okay. You play it 10 times, they'll win 6.5% of the time. 6.5 times, which also the half, I don't know how helpful a half of a time is, just like half of a goal. That's not an outcome that's possible. Half of a goal is not an outcome that's possible in a soccer game.
You know what that reminds me of? Just the like silly statistics was Sport came out with like an end of the season review for Barcelona's team, and they gave Frankie De Jong a player rating of 5.38, and I'm just like, what an incredibly specific number to give to an insanely just like illogical, irrelevant. Like, there's no basis for what you're founding that on.
Yeah, like, are you breaking it down that? Are you really breaking it down that hard?
Right. Is it a
You've
science? No.
Is your model? Do they have a scientific model? Are there a million monkeys working in a million warehouses figuring out exactly what Frankie De Jong's? No. Well, I'm gonna
On
run
average, these monkeys made Frankie De Jong a 5.38.
Well, these two monkeys right here are gonna try to predict this game. So here, I'm pouring another second drink here. I just got a nice dogfish head. Now that we're on to second hour of our happy hour.
Ooh, what you got there? Like a 90-minute, 60-minute
I just
IPA?
got this. I just got the 60, so I can remain somewhat coherent for this as we wrap it up here.
A dogfish 1 hour IPA.
Yes, for our 1.5 hour happy hour. So what's going to happen in this game? So forget the bookies and their useless statistics that don't make any sense. We're going to tell you what's going to happen in this game. I think we know how this is going to play out. Real Madrid have already played 2 perfect comps, basically, for Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. Slight differences, but a top pressing English side with a very athletic midfield. I think we've seen this before, and top class forwards. Chelsea, Man City. We played them both. We struggled mightily at times against both, but we came out with the win both times. Real Madrid, famously this year, cannot press in an organized fashion. What's interesting about that is I think it almost puts us at the advantage and lets us play the way that we're going to play. Like we saw under Zidane, Real Madrid kind of at times looked like we were giving up almost about to give up so many goals. Like famously, I remember that one Champions League semifinal, I think, against Bayern. It seemed like Bayern should have gotten 5 or 6 goals, but they did, and we got through. There's like a bend but don't break mentality. There's a kind of a siege defense to Real Madrid, not super organized, but it's all about last minute clearances. Militao is going to have a good game. Casemiro has had some really impressive games in the Champions League. I think he's been kind of disappointing on the season, but I think when it's mattered most, he's just had absolutely fabulous games tackling and getting that ball in the opponent's, when they're close to our box, maybe even in our box, getting that last-ditch tackle, getting the ball up to Vinny, getting the ball up to Fede, and then getting the goal on the counterattack. And I think, Real Madrid have, I think, the 11th best possession in Champions League this year, 51%, which is very low. But we don't need the ball.
No. I mean, Real Madrid get beat in possession fairly often.
Yeah, and I think it's almost an asset at this stage, right? Let the other team wear themselves out, like trying to pick holes.
Especially the way Liverpool play with their gegenpress, that everyone's going to get forward. You'll be able to get in behind.
Yeah, everybody knows how this game's going to go. We're basically going to let Liverpool have the ball. Obviously, where Liverpool's most dangerous isn't even when they have the ball. It's when you just got the ball back and they counter press and they want to get the ball in dangerous positions. They have you pinned deep. You get the ball back right. But can you make that first pass to beat the press? If Real Madrid are able to make that first pass, they will win this game. So it's about, can we withstand that pressure? Are those little micro moments, are those decisions going to be made correctly? And I think what we've seen at times this year is the answer is no with Real Madrid. I think we saw it even against, I think Barcelona, oddly, is a great example of that 4-0 loss. We a lot of time, Barcelona had the ball most of the time. I think we got the ball back, but just those passes out of the press were awful. There was no There was no counterattack. I think that's the worst case scenario here.
Militao is going to be big because he's not good under pressure, and he's going to be under pressure this entire game. So he's got to get it up to Modric. He's got to get it up to Modric like consistently. I think Modric alone, like maybe Casemiro, maybe Kroos, but Modric is going to be a key guy to get open for these guys to pass to.
Yeah, so I think, and again, I just think having like the awareness of themselves on the field is going to be so huge. Militao, can he just settle his mind for a second? Don't just boot it. Can he take it for a sec and find Luka, find Tony, just beat the press for a moment? We really it's that first pass, right? It's just that, can you not just boot it upfield or immediately give it away? A lot of times it's that one scything pass that then the entire defense has been split open.
Right.
So I think it'll be fascinating to see how that happens. Because I'll make a prediction here. I think we're going to look like garbage for most of this game.
Okay.
I think we're going to look like absolute trash. I mean, I don't think this is bold. I think we've seen it in most of the. Chelsea outplayed for long stretches across both legs. Man City outplayed for like 190 of the 200 minutes, right? Like, including extra time. Like, we're gonna get outplayed for most of this game. It's gonna be, can we make the best of those? We'll get two great chances this game. Vinny will probably get out in the counterattack one time. It'll just be him and Allison. And Benz will probably have like a great look at a header, and that's probably going to be it. There might be like one or two other half chances. Are we going to finish those two, or are we not? And I think that's going to be the story of the game. Obviously, okay, I said we would get to the final, and I said that would be it. I'm going to go against my prediction. I'm going to say
one more.
I mean, come on. What am I going to say? I trust my boys. I think Real Madrid will pull it out. I think we will make those two chances count. I think we believe in the shirt. I think we believe in the history. The collective belief in this team is, I think, better than I've seen really at any time at Real Madrid. I mean, even those three-peat seasons where you definitely saw it, I think we've even been better, and I think it's been a stranger journey even than those years.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? How do you think it's going to play out?
It's interesting, and it actually like builds off of what you were saying a little bit. I said that I think, and this might sound crazy, I think Real Madrid would be best served if Liverpool score first, and then
I actually agree with that.
The pressure is on the Reds to hold on to that lead, and Madrid are free to go full out. Just play your game, go all the way on the attack, especially if it gets into the later stages. This is the way Real Madrid win games. If they win, we've said all season basically, Real Madrid's game starts in the 75th minute towards the 90th.
What are the chances we're losing 1-0, 75th minute? 80%?
Right. And the rest versus rusting argument, it's going to come to a head in the halftime talks, because Liverpool are going to be up 1-0, and people are going to be like, Real Madrid don't look a little out of sorts. They're not stringing it together in the final third. Perhaps these last couple weeks of rest and relaxation have undone them. And then we see Real Madrid take form going into the second half and building towards the end of the game. If they can keep it to one goal,
that's the key.
That's going to be huge. Salah scores, Diogo Jota scores early on in the game. That makes sense to me. At halftime, 1-0 Liverpool. If it's 1-0 Liverpool at halftime, Real Madrid win the game. That's what I think. That's what I'm thinking going into this, because Real Madrid have the pedigree. The pressure's on Klopp, because Klopp, if he's up 1-0 at halftime, he goes into the locker room saying, keep doing what you're doing. Just keep it up. We've got 45 minutes left to play. Whereas Ancelotti goes into that saying, gentlemen, we've got 45 minutes. All you have for the rest of the season, you've got 3 months to think about what's taken place this year. Let it all hang out. Everything you've got, just give me 45 minutes of everything you have left in the tank, which is a lot more than Liverpool have left in the tank
Probably
right now. So I think it benefits Real Madrid to go down 1-0 early, get a little bit of that slap in the face going in, and then they win either 2-1. And my heart tells me 3-2. I think it's going to be a 2-2.
I do see goals. Yeah.
I think it's 2-2 at the end of regular time, and Benzema gets that winner 3-2 in the extra time. That's what I'm thinking right now.
I mean, how could you not bet? I mean, it's happened every game. Who's betting against? I just think it's weird. Who's betting against Real Madrid? We've been the underdog 3 straight ties, and we've come back 3 straight times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's almost a cliche to say that we will once again come back, but I think that's what's going to happen. I have one note left. Why might I be wrong? Why might we be wrong? This is what's going to keep me up tonight. Why I probably won't sleep. The air. What's going to happen in the air? Football, you think, played on the ground. No, it's also played in the air. David Alaba, isn't fully fit. And even when he is, guess which percentile David Alaba is in aerial duels won. First is the worst, 199th is the best in the air.
Aerial duels won by David Alaba. I'm going to give him 85th percentile.
First.
What?
He is the worst center back, tied with, I don't know, I guess he could be tied with other people, but he's literally the worst center back in the air. In the top 5.
F?
That's just not his game. He's 99th percentile on a bunch of stuff. Progressive passing, that kind of thing.
Well, what helps him is that's not Liverpool's game either. They're not a cross and inshallah team.
No.
But
pieces.
They do have guys that are good at that in particular. In Virgil van Dijk, even Fabinho can get on the end of some of those. They have tall guys that can get on the end of headers, but Alaba's not going to be guarding them. And if it's Alaba versus Diogo Jota for a header, I'm taking Alaba 10 times out of 10.
That's true. They do have Diogo Jota's like not the tallest guy.
Any of them. Salah, Jota, Mane, they're all tiny guys. That's not right. Yeah.
It's where I'm worried is on those set pieces, on those corners. Van Dijk's going to come up for those. Van Dijk is 93rd percentile. So for a little bit of juxtaposition, Joel Matip, their other starting center back, 90th percentile. I think as long as we can get Casemiro on Van Dijk, he's 96th percentile in aerials won. Can we get Militao? He's at least 58th percentile aerials won. So a little bit better. And that's why my key player for the game, we talked about Vinny, talked about Benz. I'm not worried about them. I think they're going to do their job. My key player for this game, one man, Eder Militao.
Ooh.
I think we've seen him. He's got the largest variance of performance on the team. Or Tebow, even Tebow. You can talk about Tebow. He's going to do his job. Tebow's going to make a great save in this game.
Yeah.
Benzema's going to score a great goal. Vinny's going to score a great goal or have a great assist. Eder Militao, if he falls down at a key moment, which we've seen him, it sounds like I'm joking. I'm really not. He literally falls down sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's like a one-on-one situation, and then Tebow's going to be in trouble, and it might be a 2-on-1. If he can stay upright, if he can make good decisions on the ball, I think we win. And I think if he doesn't, if he makes a high-profile mistake, obviously, you're just going to – Liverpool have a ton of quality forwards. They're going to take advantage. So my key players, our hopes rest on our young Brazilian star, who he had a great season. But he does have those moments, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's due for a moment like
he's
that.
due. But as we said, there's a reason we've won 7 straight finals. It's the shirt for whatever reason. It's the players. It's the coach. Probably a bit of all three. And I think we're gonna win. Here, my lineup. Lock this in. I mean, this is gonna be the lineup. Vinny Benz up top. Cruz, Case, Modric, Fede. In midfield, Mendy, Alaba, Militao, Carvajal. In defense, and Tebow. At the back, we're going to see Camavinga come in 70th minute. He's going to help. He's going to have a great run. He's going to have a great pass. He might even get a goal. Who knows? Rodrigo.
I would love that. Camavinga, It would be so big for him. He's so freaking good. And we talked about it on this podcast.
What a steal.
People still don't know how good Camavinga is. He is a freaking global talent, and I'm worried about facing him for the next 5 to 8 years.
Yeah, this kid, he's 18.
God damn, he's so good.
Well, I mean, for 35 million, what a steal, this young man. And he's already shown it. He was instrumental in winning the match against Man City, instrumental against Chelsea. I mean, he's going to have a big impact. Rodrigo, you can't say enough about that young man as well. He's ancient at, I think, 22 comparatively. Yeah. Obviously scored the brace late against Man City. So look for those two in the dying embers, probably to come on for Cruz and maybe Fede. So it's going to be fascinating. And that is all I got. And we haven't lost a final since 1981. So I think we're going to win this one.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, I agree. I'm just going to give you my potential Liverpool starting lineup.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
I'm the Barcelona representative here. I'll go against Real Madrid. Alisson will be in goal. From left to right across the back, it's going to be Andy Robertson at left back. I'm putting Ibrahima Konate starting at center back next to Virgil van Dijk.
Oh, that's interesting.
In the backfield. Yeah, I think Konate has the athleticism to keep up on these counterattacks and on these set pieces to mark his men. He's a 6'4" defender. He's the height that you need back there too. I think Konate. Off and on. It's been between him and Matip, I think, like when Van Dijk's not playing. So I think Konate gets the start here. And then Van Dijk to his right, and then Alexander-Arnold at right back. Left to right across the midfield, it's going to be Thiago Alcantara, as we mentioned earlier. He is going to get the start here. Jordan Henderson, of course, will start in center mid. And then Naby Keita at the right mid position, and then from left to right across the top, Sadio Mane at the left wing, Diogo Jota at center forward, and then, of course, there's only right wing one, Mohamed Salah. Going to be an interesting lineup. Going to be a hell of a game.
Oh, I didn't pick my goal scorers. I think, big surprise here, I think Vinny and Benz will both get one each, and I think Mo Salah will get one. Hey, we're going safe. I want to win. Okay. I want to get these right.
So you're saying 2-1. You're saying 2-1.
2-1 Real Madrid with those 3 goal scorers. Yes.
Okay, I'm saying 3-2 Real Madrid, as much as it pains me to do so. And I would love to say it's 3-0 Liverpool here. But I think it's 3-2 Real Madrid. I'm giving Salah and Mane a goal apiece for Liverpool. The 3 goals for Real Madrid are going to come 2 from Karim Benzema. He's going to get a brace in the Champions League final. And then 1, it's got to go to Vinny. I'm going to give it
it's got it, right?
It's not out of the box. We're saying the same scores for Real Madrid, but I'm going to give 1 to Vinny on a counter. He's going to get in behind. You can easily see Alexander-Arnold getting out of position, coming up too far, and that counter just getting in behind.
Modric with a slaz.
Right. But I think Liverpool score first. I think we see like a 1-0 Liverpool halftime result, and then it's a 2-2 at full time, and then Karim gets the decider in extra time. So Real Madrid hoist the big ears on the big stage at the end of the big day.
Well, I'll just say before we wrap up that I did not expect. I predicted it, but it's weirder for it to actually happen that Real
It's
Madrid
upon us.
are in the final. It's like a dream. It's gone well. Hey, Kylian Mbappe, he ended some dreams, but hey, the dream is still alive for Real Madrid to get the double this year. So we hope you enjoyed our preview. We'll do a little fantasy draft now, but that's kind of the end of the preview. I think the fantasy draft will be kind of more fun because I think it gives you a sense of the kind of the intricacies of the different teams, like how good they are.
Yeah.
If you're like, if I was starting a team today, who would I pick? And we did this for El Clasico, and it was probably the most fun I've had on the podcast this year.
Yeah, it was a good time.
So figured ahead of an occasion such as this, might be a fun little game now that we've had a drink or two.
Two and a half.
So yeah, if you're cool with just the preview, the nuts and bolts, feel free to leave us. But if you want to have a little bit of fun with this game, feel free to join us along with the draft and maybe pick a lot.
You still got 10 stops left on the L train.
Yeah.
Or if you're commuting in Angola, then here we are. We're here.
We love our Angolan fans. Yes.
Who, by the way, you know who's from Angola? Mark.
Camavinga.
Yeah. It's from Angola of origin, and so it's probably all of his family and friends listening to this podcast. And hey, we're both Camavinga fans here. As much as I hate Real Madrid, again, Peyton McNair, Barcelona fan representative here, fervently against Real Madrid. But I wish we had gotten Camavinga. He's a fantastic,
effervescent young talent, and well, we appreciate all our fans, and let's get right into it. So so here we're at our fantasy draft. I got my player pool up here.
Yep.
So. All right. Who gets first pick?
We should flip a coin.
Flip a coin. All right. You got a coin?
Yeah, I got coins.
All right. Let's grab a coin.
I'm grabbing a coin right now. It's an official American 25-cent piece known as the quarter. Heads or tails, Mark?
Tails.
Tails. It's heads. And I can prove it.
There you go. All right. First pick.
There it is. That's the head with my first pick in the 2022 UEFA Champions League draft.
So combined rosters. Say you're starting a team today. Who do you pick? Liverpool and Real Madrid. Combine them together. Who you got?
Number one, I've got the.
Oh, wait. What's your team name? What's your team name?
Oh, I didn't know we did team names.
Who'd you have make up a team? I got mine. I'm the Brooklyn Dinosaurs again.
Okay. I'll be the Alaska Ice Monsters.
Okay, that's good.
Because that's where I'm from.
All right,
and that's who I am.
Select.
The Alaska Ice Monsters. Number one pick is got to be someone who can finish goals whenever he's in front of them. It's Karim Benzema, the Ballon d'Or winner.
You bastard.
For 2022.
Did you really just do that?
I just did that. And now for pick number 2 in the fantasy draft, Mark.
All right, so I'm going to put your name. PM next to Benzema. I mean, obviously, this decision is made now that the number one goal scorer is off the board. This is for the future. For this game, I got to go with my man, the Brazilian wonderkind, Vinicius Jr., fabulous dribbler. I think that's that's a no-brainer there. 2 Real Madrid players going first. So I'm a bit surprised. I thought you were going to go Mo, that first pick. Taking Vinny.
As a matter of fact, Mark, with my second pick in the UEFA Champions League draft at right wing.
I should have taken it
from Egypt. Inshallah, it's Mo Salah. At right wing, this front attack is coming together. Goals abound for the Alaska Ice Monsters. We've got Kareem at the 9, Mo Salah at right wing.
I think I've just screwed myself. I think it's over.
By all means, go ahead.
I think I think it's over.
No, it's not over. It's far from over.
All right, so Peyton's got Mo and Ben's. I think I got played.
Hey, it's all in the flip of the coin.
All right, I'm gonna take TAA. I think he's.
Ooh, okay.
I think he's the best remaining long-term player on the board. He's creative. He's got all the kind of qualities. He's got that wicked cross. Nobody whips in a cross like Trent Alexander-Arnold. Who's he gonna cross it to? Nobody.
And hey, as far as right back goes, he is the only one of his ilk on the board.
Yeah. So give me TAA at number 3.
That's
number
tough.
4.
Now it's like I kind of want to shore up my midfield right now. I've got 2 global talents in attack. And I think am I trying to win tomorrow? Is this a team I'm picking to win the Champions League final tomorrow?
So I think it's both, right? You want to. That's the problem with being with these big clubs. You have to win now and for the future. How do you balance both?
Oof. If I'm trying to win tomorrow, and I'm trying to win now, I think I'm going to start my midfield off with a little Real Madrid player named Fede Valverde.
Oh,
in the midfield.
That's a good one.
At right mid, Fede Valverde is going to start for me. For now and for the future.
It's tough now because the best remaining player is Sadio Mane, but he plays the same position as Vidi. So I'm going to take him anyway. God
damn it. All right. Fair. Bye.
And we're going to have a fluid front 3. You know, they'll take up different positions. It's a lot about, right, these players are so talented. You just pick the next best player. So I'm going to take Mane. I'm going to start him maybe at right wing, but he can figure it out.
I thought that would have swayed you. Taking Vinny at left wing.
No.
I thought you'd be like, okay, I can't take Mane, so I would get Mane. Okay, fair.
Oh, no. I'm not that dumb. He's so good. Just a natural finisher, Sadio Mane. Maybe Real Madrid player next year. I don't know. We'll see. How wild is that, by the way, that like half of these Liverpool guys are linked with Real Madrid? I mean, that's a whole other subplot series of podcasts to get into after this.
Okay. All right. Well, you took Sadio Mane. I'm taking the future and the present.
Okay. Yes. Oh, we didn't talk about this guy yet.
Who is my favorite Colombian on the planet currently, Luis Diaz at left wing. And my front 3 is complete.
That is okay. So you got Luis Diaz, Benzema,
Mo Salah. Love it.
Okay. Well, I think this is made up. This might be okay. Yeah. With my 4th pick, I'm taking Camavinga. He gets you. He wins. I mean, what a meteoric rise, right? Like from kind of beginning of the season, people saying like, oh, he's a bit too rash, goes into too much of a challenge. Now he's like a pivotal player for us in the biggest of games, and he's a huge part of the future. So, I mean, yeah, I'm getting him, and I'm starting him at right center mid.
All right, right on. Well then, for my next pick, I am going to go the opposite side of the midfield. I'm going to play someone who is got a little bit of magic in the veins.
No.
He might be older. He might be on the wrong side of his career.
35.
But he's still got 3 good years left in him.
Dude,
he's going to help me win trophy after trophy. There can be only one screaming demon, the witch himself, the Croat
The
with
Banshee.
the Moet, Luka Modric at left center mid.
My
Luka
second
Modric,
favorite.
put him on the board.
Second favorite
Love
ever player besides the flair of Marcelo. Obviously, my second favorite ever player is little Luca. That breaks my heart. Wow, this is shaped up. This is quite a draft already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Looking at the names left. I think I got fleeced. I'm gonna go ahead and say I lost. I'm gonna take Rodrigo at striker.
Okay. All right, cool.
He's been I think he's actually got more potential than Diogo Jota. I think Jota's maybe got him right now, but Rodrigo, he's a year or two from breaking out, I think, and maybe replacing Benzema. I think we found his best position. I think it's striker. As we've seen, he can head the ball. He goes in behind defenders. Give me Rodrigo at striker.
All right. And then I am going to go ahead and take someone on defense that I think will be a premier talent for some time to come. Someone who has ties to Barcelona solely because of his Dutch background. Someone who is not too old. He's only 30. He's still got about 5 good years left. Virgil van Dijk at center back. I'm starting him.
Okay,
there.
I did not see his name. I did not. That was a mess. I think
Yes, that's right.
I think in the modern game, it's important to pick attackers. By the way, we didn't even mention this. They're apparently going to do crazy old Arsene Wenger's suggestion. The offside rule is going to be the rule now, which I don't know why it's that bigger news.
I love that. Are they really? Are they really considering it?
No, it's going to be the rule now.
I mean, this is something that here on El Clasico podcast, if you're a listener, we have been pushing so hard
for years.
That's what we want. Okay, great.
So more offense, and I think we're kind of playing by those rules, right? Select attackers first. The modern game, goals. Defense be damned. I mean, as a fan of Marcelo, which I've said multiple times, I don't care about defense. I'm picking defense last, baby. So give me Thibaut Courtois at goalkeeper.
Ooh, okay, fair.
I want my keeper to do
fine.
everything.
I think that's totally fine. I agree with that. I understand that from you as a Real Madrid fan, thinking Courtois is worth a pick right now.
I really thought I had a good team the last time we did this. This has really gone poorly. Go ahead.
Okay. Who do I want to take next? Okay, I think I'm gonna pick a good left back right now, and I'm gonna take Andy Robertson at LB.
Shoot.
I got you right here.
Can I take?
Is it
players that we will have? Can I take? You know what? I'm gonna take David Alaba next.
Okay. Yeah, I was
Rudiger. Can I take Rudiger?
I was legitimately gonna take him next in my draft. So that's a good pick.
All right, I'll take David Alaba for my first center back. Solid, great, and a young man at 29 for a center back. Got 5-6 years there still.
Okay. My right back is still empty right now, and you took Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think this guy can play either side if he's put to the test.
Sure.
For now and for the future, I'm going to take Ferland Mendy at right back.
He's solid at defense wherever you put him.
He's good. He's fast. He's got the pace. He can stick with his man, and he can help in attack when need be. So I'm going to take
solid pick.
Mendy.
It's a solid pick
with my next pick.
His future is really interesting next year, given that Alaba's probably going to move over to left back with Rudiger coming. And is there a spot for Mendy, or does he get sold? So I think it'll be really interesting.
It's a good question.
That's a cool pick for little Peyton. Little Peyton, you are much bigger than me in real life. I'm referring to your team stature.
And I still think my team is bigger, but that's fine.
That's for another day. All right, so what am I doing here? Okay, it's a bunch of chaff. It's the wheat has been taken. We're dealing with the chaff. Oh boy. Okay, give me Thiago. Give me Thiago, baby. I love that guy.
Ooh,
Silky midfielder. I'm going to start him at the left side of midfield. I think Cruz is going to retire at the end of this year, so I don't want him. That's been going around, by the way. But yeah, Cruz is obviously a favorite of mine. But yeah, give me Thiago for that just close control and those nice passes for the future. I think he's got a few more years left in him where I think Cruz is just about going to retire.
All right.
Cruz, a fellow podcaster.
Oh, really? What's his podcast?
He's got a very very well followed podcast. Yes, it's in German, so I have not listened. But
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Dankeschön.
Yeah, he's also got he's very funny on Twitter, in English even.
Okay. All right. Well, we only have a few names left available between our starting 11. I think one very important role is center mid. And there's one physical, somewhat young center mid between the two teams who can provide both defensively and offensively. And I think his name is Jordan Henderson. And I'm taking Henderson over Casemiro at the center mid position. So give
fabulous.
Me Jordan Henderson.
All right, well, that's an easy fit. I will immediately take my man, Case. Still got it. Still got those crunching tackles in midfield. I need an enforcer. I have a team very heavy on little skill players. So let's get the meat in my side. Give me Big Case at CDM.
Now, my next pick might surprise you.
Oh, Casemiro wasn't even here.
But I need to make sure my defense is solid. I need to make sure that my defense is athletic. I need to make sure my defense can get back and move forward, can help out when going forward. And that's why it should be no surprise to you that my final center back position is going to be filled out by someone who will give us an advantage today and 5 years from now. And that's Jesus Vallejo at center back. I'm putting him next to Virgil van Dijk to start in this game. Jesus Vallejo.
Kid's good.
Is my guy.
Kid is good. He can play, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and take Militao, though. I didn't have him on here on this list, which is silly. I didn't have him in the pool because
I don't trust Militao because he can't play out from the back when he's under pressure. He's shaky as all get out. He's not confident when he's under pressure.
I'm
taking
that.
Vallejo.
Vallejo's really shown himself. The last few games he's gotten an opportunity now that we haven't been playing meaningful games. But I mean, come on, Militao. Hey, and man, he is such an interesting player. He's so the opinions on him can vary wildly from game to game.
I think he's really good.
And he's the key.
He's really good.
He's
really good. Yeah.
He will be the key to the final. So I'm going to take Militao with my last pick at left back. I have to take Carvajal and play him out of position. So
good.
But hey, Carvajal, player of the game. playing left back. He got 2 assists versus Man City. So my lineup for the Brooklyn Dinosaurs.
What? We have one more pick each.
We do? I have a full lineup.
Oh, I still have to pick my keeper.
Wait, you had first pick though.
I know I didn't take a keeper yet though, and it's going to be Allison, of course. So Allison is my keeper.
All right, did I pick 2 in a row at one point?
That must have happened somewhere along the road. If you noticed that, please send us an email to elclasicopodcastico@gmail.com.
Please do. Well, all right, who do you got? Alaska Icebreakers or whatever your team's.
All right, the Alaska Ice Monsters. Not the Alaska Conversation Starters. Thank you, Mark. Goalkeeper, of course, is going to be Allison in pack. From left to right, across the back, we got Andy Robertson at left back. Jesus Vallejo on the left side of the center back position. Virgil van Dijk on the right side to teach Vallejo and mentor him through what it means to be a center back in the professional league. And then Ferland Mendy at right back. Left mid is going to be Luka Modric. Center mid, Henderson. Right mid, Fede Valverde. And then left, right across the top, I am getting erect as I say it. Luis Diaz at left wing. Karim Benzema at the tip of the spear, and Mohamed Salah at right wing. That's a hell of a team right there.
Yeah. Yep. You got me here. You got me in this one. I got Thibaut at the back, Thibaut Courtois, Carval left back. Again, we're playing fullbacks out of position. Whatever. But I mean, hey, that's the name of the game. In fantasy lineups, David Alaba at center back, Militao at center back, TAA at right back, Camavinga, Casemiro, and Thiago. Oh, I actually really like my midfield.
I'll tell you what, I'll take Alaba over Vallejo and your right back over Mendy. That's for sure. TAA.
Yeah. So I got some advantages, but my front lineup: Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, and Mane. 2 of those basically playing out of position. I don't know about that compared to Mo Salah and Benzema. So I'd probably tip. I think Peyton, you have won our Champions League fantasy draft. I'm just gonna concede. Well done, sir.
Thank you. And I wish there was a way for us to play these on FIFA.
But there's not, because FIFA's stupid.
Would be great. That's right. And again, and we haven't even talked about this on the podcast. FIFA and EA no longer partners in the video game world. They will no longer be together. There is no more EA Sports presents FIFA 22. It's been since my childhood that it's exist.
That's how I got into soccer. FIFA 08, Wayne Rooney scoring those screamers, those crazy outside of the box.
Yeah,
nonsense.
Frank Lampard,
nonsense
RB
goals.
circle from wherever.
Wherever it was going in. I'm glad they fixed that. But yeah, very strange. So we'll see what happens with that. Until then, we hope you enjoy the Champions League final. We'll be watching. We might be there. We'll see. But we appreciate you very much. We love you so much. Hala Madrid. Let's go. The final.
And as always, Visca El Barça, although it's irrelevant going into the game, still a Barca fan, still going to support them. Please, if you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to the podcast. Like and subscribe to our YouTube page, El Clasico Podcastico.
There's videos
Please
galore.
follow us. Videos galore. There will probably be another one available tomorrow as we do our little pregame. Follow us on Twitter at ePodcastico. And please tell a friend to tell a friend. We love you so much. Send all of your emails to elclasicopodcastico@gmail.com. We are here for you. Send us your predictions for these Champions League final game. Tell us what you think the final score will be. Who's going to score in it? If any of your predictions are correct, we will give you a shout out on the podcast. And we love you so much for listening.
Hasta el final. Let's go.
Here we
Real
go.
Madrid
I
takes
think
a
Real
Europe.
Madrid. I think they do. I think it's 3-2 Real Madrid in extra time. That's my final prediction here.
We'll tweet out our predictions. I think it's going to be 2-1. It's going to be a close one. My mind boggles at the just the possibilities going into this game. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.